Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
It's a recipe for patchy ice on some of our roadways.
Sure is, and some areas could see some actual snow accumulation. Kim Adams is joining us now with a closer look at where things stand on this Friday night. Hey, Kim.
Hey, Ty and Kimberly. Well, we do have some slippery roadways out there now as temps are already dropping. We're not looking for a big accumulation. Most of it is just melting upon contact, but there are some swaths of moderate snow right now from just south of Howell over to Novi, Northville, Plymouth, and then into Macomb County in Mount Clemens. You can see anything in blue that indicates snow. If it's darker blue, it's more of a moderate to heavy snowfall. And then the pink is that changeover line. So we're still waiting for it to change over down along the Ohio River, but we have seen the changeover in most spots. And then notice it's dry already in Flint and Lapeer in the northern parts of Oakland and Macomb and Livingston counties. And once we get the swath through, we're done with the precipitation, but unfortunately we had a lot of heavy rain today, and so roads will be icy as those temps drop. But you can see the darker blues in Utica, Sterling Heights, Madison Heights, Hazel Park, down into Harper Woods and the Grosse Pointes, and even here in the city of Detroit, and some big flakes happening right now in Plymouth, Salem, Novi, Northville, even up into Wixom. So we'll continue to see the changeover. Until then, there are some pockets of patchy ice. That's the pink you see there, and we're seeing it all over Metro Detroit. The rest, the blue you see there, those are snow-covered roads. So a little tricky evening commute for us here. We'll talk more about the weekend forecast coming up.
All right, Kim, thank you. Tragic news from Troy tonight. A child was killed at a medical center while getting treatment inside a hyperbaric chamber.
This happened at the Oxford Center on Kurtz Road near I-75 in Livernois. Troy police say a 5-year-old boy from Royal Oak was inside that chamber when it exploded. He was pronounced dead at the scene.
And his mother was standing right next to that chamber when it exploded, causing injuries to her arms. Sadly, there are still so many unanswered questions.
We did some initial investigation. This is very uncommon, so we're not sure what led up to it, and that's what our investigation is going to show.
Now, a statement from the Oxford Center says this in part, quote, "Nothing like this has happened in our more than 15 years of providing this type of therapy. We do not know why or how this happened and will participate in all of the investigations that now need to take place." So what do we know about the Oxford Center? Our investigative team has been looking into that all day long.
Our Karen Drew is back. Karen, you've looked to see if there were any past issues with this company. What'd you find out?
Well, we uncovered a lot, Kim. The Oxford Center has 2 locations, the one in Troy and Brighton, and we dug into the history. Discovered just last month, a former director in Brighton was sentenced to 4 to 6 years for impersonating a healthcare professional and witness intimidation. That's according to the Attorney General's office. Kimberly Casey Coden presented herself as a board-certified behavioral analyst, even though she was not licensed by the state and didn't have proper educational background. Now, that was back in 2018. Also, I want you to take a look at this. This is a lawsuit that was filed this past summer against the company from an employee who said she was trained by Kimberly Coden. Stated in the lawsuit she witnessed Ms. Coden-Diskin using manipulative language with parents and insurance companies, even impersonating that plaintiff on occasion. Now, at 5, I exposed the fact that these centers are not regulated by the state. The FDA encourages you to visit an accredited hyperbaric chamber. By the way, there are only 2 in the state. And there are only 13 conditions the FDA says a hyperbaric chamber should be used for. This center, the Oxford Center in Troy, if you go to the website, it boasts on the website it can be used for 112 different conditions, including autism, heart attacks, dementia. The list goes on and on. I posted all that information and what we uncovered on clickondetroit.com, and you can bet we'll stay on top of it.
A serious snowplow problem in Redford.
It's happening too much, and then you can't get your mail.
A fast-moving plow taking out mailboxes and leaving some with no way to get their mail. And it's exactly why they're calling Help Me Hank. Our consumer investigator Hank Winchester live in Redford tonight. Hank, you were able to come to the rescue for these folks.
They have the county helping us with that. We have a break in traffic here, so I want to show you the issue. Take a look at how close these mailboxes are to the roadway. You can see a plow making its way here down the road. Well, it's going to hit these mailboxes. Unfortunately, it has happened a few times over the years. Homeowners, they've been frustrated. That's exactly why they called me, and we are happy to report tonight the county was quick to help us. Take a look.
knocked off on the ground.
This is what's left of Johnny Holland's mailbox, beaten up by a snowplow that was cruising down her street in Redford. These are photos of her mailbox in the snow, sheared off the post by the plow. And this has happened to her and neighbors twice in the last few years.
I think they got a little bit too close, and when they get close trying to get all the snow up, and they're moving at a speed, and they just go through here, and it's just, you just see mailboxes just flying.
No mailbox means no mail. She's not been receiving her mail now for about 3 weeks.
It's frustrating because you have mail and important mail, checks, everything, and it's not coming.
And the mail delay creating some big problems.
I had mail that I was waiting for, like for my insurance company. Haven't received it yet, and I'm like, oh my God, so it made my insurance go through the roof because I don't have the letter.
So I got in touch with the county, and boom, a brand new mailbox installed. Mail delivery is back on track. This problem is solved.
After I called you, 2 days later, now I have a mailbox.
There you go. There we go.
Yes, I'm so happy. Thank you so much.
I'm so happy to. I mean,
you're the person to go to if you can't get anything. You're the person to go to.
I received this statement from the county. It reads, our top priority during dangerous snow and ice events is to ensure that roads are cleared quickly and safely for all residents. In that process, occasional damage to mailboxes can occur, especially those closest to main county roads. We strive to address these concerns promptly and have already made the necessary repairs. We encourage residents to report issues to 888 Road Crew so we can respond in a timely manner. Back out here live, listen, we know these county workers, they have a tough job. They are covering hundreds of miles of roadway. In fact, they may be out here later tonight or tomorrow if this snow accumulates at all. But the good news in this situation, now we know exactly who you need to contact if you have a situation like this. That number, 888 Road Crew. I'll put all the information for you right on the Help Me Hank page at clickondetroit.com. We're live here in Redford tonight. Hank Winchester, Help Me Hank. Back to you.
Yeah, okay, Hank, we appreciate it.
Another big story we're following today, murder charges now filed against the ex-boyfriend of missing Warren mother, Ashley Elkins. He had been charged with lying to police before today. Now the added charges against DeAndre Booker are the result of blood evidence found in Booker's bathroom, which came back as a match to Elkins. Elkins' family was in that courtroom today as Booker was arraigned on the new charges, including first-degree murder, tampering with evidence, and mutilation of a body. Elkins was last seen on January 2nd. Police are still searching for her body. But even without it, the Macomb County prosecutor says he believes he can get a conviction against this man. Booker is now being held with no bond.
Another big story we're following, the case of Jennifer Crumbley, the mother of the Oxford High School shooter. A judge denied Crumbley's appeal for a prison release. Crumbley asked for an acquittal as well, but both of these asks were denied. Let's get over to Sean Lay. And Sean, Crumbley will stay in prison at least for now.
At least for now, but Jennifer Crumbley, seen here in court today, has an attorney who is going all the way here. He says she deserves a new trial, released from prison, and he says he's uncovering things that's pointing right at Oakland County Prosecutor Karen McDonald as the reason why he says she deserves a new trial. Take a look at this.
The prosecution engaged in a prosecution of cheat and deceit. They cheated and they engaged in deceit. They hired social media influencers who crafted media statements and narratives of what they wanted the case to be about. It was kept a secret. They used taxpayer money from a slush fund. They received $1 million budget to work this case.
Attorney Michael Desi here today fighting to free Jennifer Crumbley. And on appeal, he's going after Oakland County Prosecutor Karen McDonald, accusing her of cheating at trial for not revealing deals made with Oxford school officials in exchange for them to tell prosecutors what they knew about that awful day. Judge Cheryl Matthews even saying, good question, grilling head prosecutor Mark Keast why prosecutors did not make those deals crystal clear, suggesting that gave Crumbley a base for her appeal.
But why didn't the prosecution provide that information? Maybe we wouldn't be here. I'm positive that decision wasn't an offhand decision by an APA or a Bates stamping paralegal.
I want to read the rest of the court rule that counsel didn't read through. And that's 6.201B5, the entire sentence, Judge.
Yeah.
Any plea agreement, grant of immunity, or other agreement for testimony.
Grant of immunity, comma.
There was no grant of immunity, Judge.
It's not use immunity?
It is not, Judge. The only way to grant immunity is to petition the court for immunity.
All right, Detroit. Back here live. What's left? An immediate motion that will be filed for the immediate release of Jennifer Crumbley from prison. At the end of all of this, Cheryl Matthews, the judge here, says she's taking it all under consideration. There's tough arguments made in court today, and she'll have a written opinion on this. No date given for that, so we'll be watching for her opinion coming out as soon as we get it. Back to you.
Sean, we appreciate it.
Now we go to the plane crash investigation in D.C. The focus now shifting to air traffic controllers' workload at Reagan National Airport and whether the military helicopter exceeded its altitude limit. Now, the helicopter corridor near Reagan National Airport is closed indefinitely after this crash. The agency shutting down what's known as Route 4 this morning. Aviation experts and former pilots are focusing on the Army Black Hawk and if it was flying higher than it should have been or outside of its approved path.
I've flown this route too many times to count. You stair step down your altitude and you keep that 200 feet plus or minus, 10, 20 feet.
It's possible with all the reflections of the lightning over the water that they crept up.
NBC Nightly News will have the very latest on the investigation and a closer look at the 67 people who died in this crash. Lester Holt interviews the president of the Air Traffic Controllers Association. That's coming up at 6:30.
In a Local 4 News update, a sewer main break along Hayes Road in Macomb Township has now been repaired. Sky 4 was over the scene yesterday as crews worked to repair the break. Many were concerned about sewage leaking into the Clinton River. Crews found more than 20,000 gallons of sewage was flowing into the river on an hourly basis. Neighbors were told to conserve their water usage, but now officials say they can go back to using their water as normal. However, Hayes between 25 and 26 Mile roads remains closed.